Hi, today we're going to be having a look at this FNIRSI HS-02 soldering iron. Now FNIRSI sent me this to have a look at, just to see what I think of it. It comes with a 100-watt power adapter. Now unfortunately this has got an EU plug on it and I'm in the UK, so I've had to purchase this adapter here, so it converts it. Comes with a nice silicone cable here which plugs from the adapter to the actual soldering iron. Now I've not opened this, so let's see what's in the box. Now we're not going to do a normal unboxing and open the box because I've got an x-ray machine, so we can throw it in there, we can see what's in the box without opening it, and we'll also actually be able to see what's actually inside the soldering iron itself. So let's go over to the x-ray machine, we'll throw it in and we'll have a look, see what's in it. Right, I'll just put this in here. Like so. Right, so let's x-ray it and let's see what it looks like. Just wait for it to finish processing. And let's adjust the contrast a little bit here. So it looks like we've got some kind of wire wool tip cleaner there. Looks like we've got an assortment of tips, possibly a stand here. And this looks like the iron itself. That looks like the display. We've got 3 buttons. That looks like the MOSFET that drives the actual element there. And that looks like the USB socket down here. And the processor. Looks like we've possibly got a op amp or something for measuring the temperature. Just underneath that button there. Let's just zoom in a little bit. A bit of a clearer view there. You can see the OLED display or LCD display, because I'm not sure what it is yet because we haven't opened the box. So I thought I'd also x-ray the power adapter. You can see the main transformer here. You can see a few capacitors dotted around. Looks like some kind of inductor there. And that looks like the fuse just on that part there. Right, let's get it out of the box then. It's got a little security seal here. Let's see how to cut that with this dental pick. And we've got some instructions in Chinese here. And in English as well. Boot logo, standby, main menu, sleep. Okay, seems fairly straightforward. Just put this to one side. Well, the box feels nice. A little spring thing there or something, I'm not sure what that's for. I wonder if that's a solder dispenser, I think. That's neat. Let's just zoom down a little bit on this, so we can get a bit better view. So we've got a little solder dispenser here. The stand feels actually quite good quality, I like that. We've got a little tip cleaner in there, and I guess that's just getting rid of bits of stuff off the end of your iron. Looks like we've got 5 tips there. That's a big chisel tip, and a couple of smaller pointed ones, and the one with a bit of an angle there. Another small chisel tip there. And this is the main iron. I'm not sure which, I guess, does this end come off? So you turn it. So we've got a total of 6 tips with this. Right, let's plug it in. Or should we take this bit of stuff off there? I know people like sort of doing this like that. We'll just do it very slowly and remove the film there. There we go, because I know people like that sort of stuff. Right, let's plug it in and let's see what it does when it's got power. Right, I'll plug the power supply in. And the power supply is 100 watt and is capable of giving out 20 volt at 5 amp. Now with that cover just move forward. I wonder if it's supposed to do that. So that wasn't the best start, mind you. Just thought I better not be holding the end of this just in case it heats up. So I guess we'll press the OK button. And it looks like the temperature's going up, and it's got a preset temperature of 350 by the look of it at the moment. There we go, it's heated up quite rapidly. Let's just try it on a bit of this solder there. Well, the tips actually seem quite good quality. Because on the soldering iron that I use at the moment, I've had a few problems with the tips not tinning very good, but this seemed to tin straight away. And it's actually got the DC voltage indicated at the bottom there. And so that's how to change the temperature up and down by the up and down buttons. Let's press the OK button and see what that does. That probably puts it into standby mode, I guess. And that might change between the presets. So I'm not sure how you get the menu up on this. I'm probably going to have to look at the instructions, I guess. Right, I figured it out. You hold the OK button down, and then you get this menu up. So we've got three options. Sleep set, which I guess is the sleep time and stuff. So when you're not using it after 29 minutes or whatever, it goes and sets itself to 100 degrees, okay. Not sure how we'll get back out of this menu though. Okay, so it's a long press to go back. Handle set, let's try that. Oh. So that's the three preset temperatures. And I wonder if you can select the voltage as well. And you can set the temperature calibration by the look of it. Now I haven't got anything that I can use to test the temperature. I haven't got a soldering iron thermometer, so I can't actually check that. Right, so hold that down and go back, and let's see what system set does. So left or right handed. Let's change the language. Let's return the beep on and off. Set the temperature units to either centigrade or Fahrenheit, I guess. Brightness. I'm not sure what roll set is. Firmware update. About. Factory reset. So let's see what about says. Tells you the version of that and stuff. I don't know what the as regards. Some kind of translation error, I guess, at the top. Should just say something like about, I guess, or system info. So let's hold the OK button down. And that should take what back to the standby menu. I mean, it seems fairly intuitive how to use it. So I think what we'll do is we'll put it through its paces and we'll try and fix something with it. So I've got this little torch that a friend, or flashlight that a friend asked me to have a look at. And it appears what's happened with this, a little bit like the Bluetooth headset that I looked at. It's got a barrel jack for the 5V USB input that's used to charge it. And I guess somebody's plugged 12 volts into it, because the charging chip has got a big hole in it there. And if we look at the lithium battery here, it's like a balloon. So I was going to use the iron to solder the chip in as well, but the problem is the chip has got a thermal pad on the bottom, so I'll have to use the hot air station to heat this up and remove it. But there is a switch directly under the chip that'll probably melt, so I'm going to have to remove the chip and disconnect the battery. So we'll use the soldering iron for that, and then we'll use the soldering iron again for reconnecting everything. So I'm just going to get a little bit flux. Let's put it on these two connections here. Might be worth disconnecting the battery first. Not that I think it's got any charge in it, looking by the state of it. I think I'll just snip those wires one at a time, just make it a bit easier, and then we'll just disconnect the actual wires, which look a bit not soldered on the best, let's say. So let's see how we get on with that. That seemed to work okay. So let's add a bit fresh solder to those, and then we'll use the solder sucker just to get rid of the excess solder and hopefully remove the switch. I normally use a slightly bigger tip. I like the chisel tips myself, so I could try a different tip on this as well. I've got this set at 325 degrees at the moment. But some of the smaller tips tend not to give out a lot of thermal mass to get it into. I haven't got a lot of thermal mass to get the heat into the actual workpiece or whatever. Right, one of the bigger tips now. Let's see what that's like. I'll just put a bit tin. I'll just tin the tip first, I think. So we get a bit more heat into the workpiece now. Because I got the same problem with my other iron. I see you don't seem to get a lot of thermal transfer. That seems better. This is more the size tip that I use quite regularly. Yeah, that looks better. Let's just go on the end there, just a tiny bit of solder holding it. There we go. See, switch removed. I'll try cleaning up those pads there, let's get a bit of solder wick. I'll just wick these connections off. Right, I'll get some hot air and we'll get this chip off. Right, I've got this under the microscope. Let's just get some hot air on this. I think it's kind of welded itself to the board. So by the look of it, it doesn't even look like they've used the thermal pad on this chip, because there's no solder on it, and there's no solder on these pads here. So let's just try and clean these pads up a bit. I'll use the iron for this. Try and get some flux on here. Yeah, that pad I think still got part of the leg on or something. That ground pad, that's one that was causing the problems. Right, I'll give that a clean up with some IPA. Let's just try a bit of cotton bud on those as well. It's a bit hard to tell what's going on with that pad there. I think it's alright. I still think it might have a little bit of the original leg of the chip in the middle of it there. Let's see if we can get this new chip on then. I'll just use the iron for this because it doesn't look like they're using the actual thermal pad. So I've put the smaller tip on the iron. Let's get this corner pin first. And I probably should have put a bit of flux on, but let's see if we can get that roughly in place first. Right, I'll add a bit of flux to the rest of the pins and then we'll solder them up. Right, I think that'll do for that. Right, let's get the switch soldered back in. I'll swap back to the larger tip. Just make sure I've got that in straight. Right, that's that done. And now we've just got to solder the light bulb back on. I don't know whether to do away with this socket, because I mean it's not serving any purpose. Well, yeah, we'll just leave it as is, I suppose. So the negative side is over here. Well, I see some signs of life there. Well, looks like the on-off switch works. I don't know if the charging side of things works, but we shall find out. Just plug the charging thing back in. There's a little LED goes into a little hole here. Right, I'll get rid of this thing. And see, I've got a bit of sticky tape or something just to hold this battery in place. I guess something a bit like that. Now whether or not it was actually worth fixing this or not, I don't know, but I said I'd have a look at it for a minute anyway. Get this plastic back in the right place, rubber. So let's see if it charges up. I'll see if I've got a barrel jack to fit that. Well, that didn't go according to plan. I plugged the adapter in and nothing happened. So I checked all the soldering, everything seemed okay. And then what I discovered was there's actually two versions of this chip. There's an ME4056 charge chip and a TP4056 charge chip. And the difference is the pins are sort of upside down. So I checked the pin out of this chip and it just didn't seem quite right. So I flipped the chip upside down. So that's the thermal pad sticking up over now, and I bent all the pins down onto the PCB board. So let's see if it works now. So I've got a USB lead here on a 5-volt barrel jack, and we've got a charge light, which we didn't have before. So putting the chip in upside down made it work. So how weird is that? I'll leave that to charge up and then we'll come back when it's fully charged.
One eternity later.
At last, it's taken hours to charge this thing. Look at the light there, I don't know if you can see, it's gone green. I'll just check what voltage is in the battery. And 4.178. Right, so that's working, excellent. Well, at least we fixed something with the iron. Let's try it on something else. We'll try using the bigger tip and we'll see if we can remove some components. So let's see if we can move one of these heat sinks. This is off an old plasma TV board, and the torch works fine, by the way. Put that to one side. So let's see what it's like on removing a big heat sink. A fairly big heat sink anyway. Let's just switch this on. And I've put the biggest tip on the end of it here. And it's set to 360. So let's just apply a bit fresh solder first. It is going on there, it is melting it. Let's just try the solder sucker on that. I caught one of the buttons there. Let's try turn it up a bit. Oh, I got it to 425 there. Let's try 400. I'll clear that all there. Let's see if we can just walk it out. I'm just going to add a bit of solder back on this. It is going. And it's out. Turn this down a bit now. So, yeah, did the solder that. It was a little bit hard work, but it did do it. So I mean, overall, it's not a bad little iron. I don't know if I keep holding it a bit further back. I don't know why. It's got this rubber grip here, but I seem to be holding it back here for some reason. My normal iron's got a bit of a thinner cable. The cable is a bit thicker on this one. I mean, it doesn't seem too bad. One of the things that I did notice though, when I was changing the tips on my station, there's like a little cutout that you put the tip in and then you pull it out. And you can do it with this, but then the hot tip falls in the centre here. So then I put another tip on and I just thought, oh, it was in the bottom of here, but it actually ended up burning a little bit of a hole in the bottom of it here. So if you do get one of these and you want to change the tips, don't put it in here and then pull the tip out, because it'll just drop through and burn the plastic underneath. So I'm not sure what the proper procedure for changing the tips is. Whether you've got to switch it off, wait for it to cool down and then change the tip, but that obviously takes a bit of time, where I don't have to do that on my station. I'll just show you what I mean. So on mine, if I want to change the tip, I just do that and then just put my new tip on. I just want to change that tip. I'll just do that. I mean, the display is nice and clear on it. And I don't suppose it's too bad, a little iron there. I mean, if you're interested in one, I'll leave some links in the video description with a discount code of 6% off. So if you want one, you might be to save a little bit of money as well. It's quite nicely finished. This end cap's metal as well, which just fits on, so you can just put that on if it's still hot when you want to switch it off. Like so. And I like the way it's got this nice little carry case, so if you're using it out in the field, it would be not too bad for that sort of thing. I'm not sure whether I would use it as my main iron though, because of the size of it. I'm more used to a bit smaller iron, and obviously this one's a bit thicker with it having all the electronics built into the iron. So, well, there's not really that much in it, I suppose, looking at it. I think it just feels a little bit more chunky to me. But there we have it. The FNIRSI HS-02A. Right then, if you enjoyed this video, please give it the thumbs up. If you want to see more like it, please subscribe. Any comments or questions, please leave it in the comment section below. And as always, have a great day. Thanks for watching.